Hey guys, Brostorm here, and today we're going to be talking about the Rira GT3 rules and regulations. Um, so what this video is pretty much going to be about is for anyone who's not really familiar with how most GT3 endurance races run, or if you just want a refresher on how Rira is. So just a disclaimer for anyone watching this of I'm not really a pro at GT3 rules and regulations. I know a good amount of rules and regulations, and also that Ryra won't be running off of in real life, meaning that we're not going to be 100% realistic. So I'm sorry if I do get any information wrong, but that is just how Ryras can be run. If you have any suggestions of anything, feel free to just DM me. I can possibly go over them. But back to the video. If you guys don't know what GT3 is, GT3 is a classification of cars that the FIA puts out. If you don't know what the FIA is, go ahead and look it up. It's pretty much just the international governing body of most racing. Um, well, they put out this classification of cars that pretty much every GT3 series, every GT series uses out there. So obviously that's the classification that we're using, and we're using different rules. We're only using the cars. So how Ryra GT3 work? Each team has two cars. Um, Now whether a team runs each car is optional. Um, Now if you look over to the right, get the notepad up. I can write down some of the, I take notes on some of the things to go over. So for example, each team has two cars. Now, whether each team principal uses them or not, um, that is completely up to him. So, for example, what you could run is one car and have four drivers in the first car and have no drivers in the second car. Or what he can do is have four drivers in the first, four drivers in the second, split them even, stuff like that. Um, Now, another rule is that each car that's being used in the race has a max of four drivers. So there can be 8 active drivers within the race. That's counting both cars. So each car has max 4 drivers. Now that means 8 active drivers per team. But again, not every team has to have 4 drivers. If you guys want to use 3, you can use 3. If you want to use 2, you can use 2. If you want to use 1, which is very risky, you can. It's completely up to the of what he wants to run. Um, it's not required to run 2. Another is that teams can swap drivers. So what that means is during a pit stop, so to get tires and refuel, teams can swap drivers. Um, so that can happen. And another thing is you guys will have to strategize this because this is going to be over a long time. So most races, the longer races, such as 24 hours at Le Mans, is going to be over like 3 hours. Um, for us, because we're not going to run the whole 24 hours. It's going to be over 3 hours, and that's pretty long. I don't think any one of y'all is going to drive for over 3 hours by yourself. So you guys can swap drivers, and what time you do that is going to be key. Because obviously, you guys are trying to beat other teams, and if you pit too much, you're gonna lose time. And if you don't pit enough, you might lose time because let's say you don't have enough grip. Let's say your tires are losing too much grip, or let's say worst comes to worst, you run out of fuel. Um, so that can happen. Another thing is that endurance races, it's not about how many laps there are. It's about how many laps. So, for example, um, let's say the 24 hours at Le Mans, it goes a full 24 hours. And endurance races, what that means is that it's about who can complete the most amount of laps 24 hours. So endurance racing equals most laps complete. All right. So it's not about who can complete the laps in the fastest time. It's about who can complete the most amount of laps within a certain amount. Um. So another thing is that because of that, um, obviously people might be wanting to corner cut. Uh, Corner cut is going to be a huge thing. We still haven't chose the number of corner cuts yet at the time of recording of this video, which is March 1st. So as of March 1st, we have not chosen the corner cuts and how many corner cuts it's going to take. But if it does change, you guys will be updated. But for the amount of you get a certain amount of corner cuts, you're gonna start getting laps tacked on. So be careful of that because if you get too many corner cuts, you get some laps to your time. So let's say you finish. Let's say you and someone has the same amount of laps. Okay. In 24 hours, if you and somebody else has the same amount of laps, um, you guys won't be tied. At that point, it's about um who pretty much what we'll be doing is it's just going to be about who completed the lap first or who was farther within the lap. So pretty much just that. Whoever completed their lap first will be in front. Now let's say you guys did tie, okay? Um well if, let's say you had a certain amount of corner cuts and a lap was added. Well, now you guys aren't tied anymore because now you have an extra lap, and now you're a lap below the person. So essentially, you're not in first place anymore. So that's gonna happen. Um, Another thing, if you crash out, uh, crashing out will be very hard to do. Because in Formula One, if you were here during the Rira Formula One, if you flipped your car, pretty much if you flipped the car in general, you would pretty much be crashed out. Um, and you'd have to retire from the race. But the cool thing about GT racing is that almost like NASCAR, you can fix your car mid race. It's about um again, it's endurance. People fix their cars all the time inside GT racing. They'll change their brakes, they'll change fluids if they have to. Um Hell, if they can fix some body work, they'll fix some body work because completing the race is an accomplishment, okay? And I'm gonna write that down because I think people focus on winning the race too much, but people don't focus on completing the race. So completing the race equals accomplishment. And if you do complete the race, you guys will get an award. Like I don't know what the award will be, but anyone who completes the race, an endurance race, not just any race, an endurance race will get an award. Just because it's an achievement, okay? Um, and let's see. Another thing we'll be going over is refueling. How the refuel works. So if you guys don't know already, I'm gonna go ahead and take away the notepad. Um, so here's the cars that we have. Okay, I'm gonna use the Acura. Okay. Well, we're inside the car right now. At bottom right corner, kind of covered by the race GUI that I have. But you'll see the fuel gauge. Right now we have it as 70 liters, and I think 70 liters is a good area we're at. I don't think I'm gonna raise it, but I might lower it to 60, see what it's like, get feedback from the racers. But obviously you can't see it here, but you'll be able to see the average miles per gallon, stuff like that. Um, Now, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna hop out, act like it's a pit stop. Audi, I'm sorry, man. Perfect parking. What you're gonna do is just grab the gas can, boom, easy. Um, Now that's just gonna refuel it, and then again, if you guys don't know, to reset your tires because we don't have a tire changing script yet. That's one of my biggest things I want to get. To just reset your tires, all you got to do is just hop in. I mean, my bad. You gotta hop out and then just hop back in. Now, I don't recommend that teams do that. Uh, I'll cover that in the next video about strategies and how Rira strategies will work and the best strategies tips to win. But I just a little here. I just don't recommend that if you're doing a pit stop, don't have the same driver. Just stay in the car or something like that. I recommend at each pit stop you switch drivers because it's just easier to have a driver completely refreshed and not tired. So back to the Rira rules and regulations. Um, so now we're gonna stop getting away from the classifications of GT3, and now we're just gonna go over the regular rules of how racing works. So if you're new, this is gonna be so first, um, as you can see here, we have our electronic flag board. You can tell what the flags that we have. I'm gonna put it back at green. You can tell the flags by the GUI on the top, but if that's too much, you can also look on the track while you're driving, and you'll be able to see the flag boards that are all around the track. So you guys will be able to tell the current flag. Now, the flags will change at certain times. So, for example, yellow flag. This is caution. This means that there's an accident on the track. There might be somebody on the track. There might be safety car coming out. Stuff like that. Um, if the safety car does come out, safety car will be announced. Most likely this kind of form. Safety car out. Oh, that was wrong, Radicat. But it'll be like that, something like that. And most likely be coming in a form. So that's how that's gonna work. Another thing, red flag. So if the flag is red, that means the race is gonna be stopped. Uh, and what that also usually the race won't be red flagged when you guys are racing. Usually the race progression will be yellow flag, safety car will come out, and then the race will be red flag. Um, that way it won't be as chaotic. And what the red flag means is that the race will be paused. So, uh, safety car will come out. You guys will all bunch up like usual, and you guys will just drive to the pits in the same order, okay? And unlike Formula One, in the safety car, we won't be allowing most cars to unlap themselves. The only time we'll probably do that to allow some cars to unlap themselves if the grid order is messed up. But we still haven't really figured out what we're gonna use for that kind of regulation side, but that's how that's gonna work. Um, Now on a race restarts, this is what we're most likely gonna do is that for a race restart, you guys have two options. There's a rolling start and then there's a grid start. Okay. Now, the difference between the rolling start and the grid start is pretty much just in the name. A grid start, you guys start at the grid, you guys will line up in the same order, and boom, start race. Easy. The lights will go down, and then they'll just go out. Um, or you can do a rolling start. What a rolling start will pretty much be is once the safety car that is announced that it's going to be in, um, during the last few turns, the safety car will go out back into the pits, and it's going to be complicated. We're going to go over this maybe in another video of how to do this, or we're going to be going through trainings. But during a safety car, it is up to the leader to whenever the race restarts. Okay, so if the leader slows down, the whole pack has to slow down too, even if the safety car is back in the pits. So usually what will happen is that the safety car will go back into whatever marshalling post or whatever, and the leader will slow down a bit, and the whole pack will slow down. And then around the last few turns, that's when the green flag. Oh, wrong flag. That's when the green flag is given and the race can restart. And that's whenever the leader actually starts speeding up, that's when the whole pack can speed up. Okay. Um, so that's how that's gonna work. But you guys will most likely be used to the grid starts, just because rolling starts are kind of complicated, and a lot of y'all are a bit slow in the head and don't know how to not pass someone. Um, because under yellow flag conditions, it is illegal to pass people. If we catch you passing, you'll be given at the minimum a 1 lap penalty. You'll be given a lap penalty at the minimum, and that's like the bare minimum. Like if you accidentally did. Um, but yeah, so if you pass someone under a yellow flag or even under safety car conditions, yeah, you can expect a penalty coming your way. Now, if the safety car is out and you pass the safety car, you guys might be disqualified. That might be just a pure black flag coming your way. Because if you like, if the safety car is out, even during practice, if it's out, if it's during qualifying or anything, do not pass the safety car, even if like you're on a hot lap or whatever. It's completely illegal unless you are specifically told to pass the safety car, which we'll go over that too. Not pass. Now that comes to my next topic is when to pass the safety car. You guys can pass the safety car once it is announced that you can. Now only certain drivers will be able to, okay? So we'll tell the drivers that can pass the safety car, usually in VC, by PM, whatever. Um but for example, another thing you can tell is by the do not pass lights. The second it turns its passing lights on, whoever got cleared to pass the safety car can pass the safety car. Now, another thing during the race restart is that once during the last turns, once the safety car comes in, it's going to turn its light bar off. That's how you know the safety car is done, when its lights are off. That's when you can expect the race to be restarted. But usually we'll announce safety car in this lap. So I think that's pretty much all the basic rules and regulations and how Rira GT3 racing will work. This will be a series, so we'll have more racing videos on how to set up your team, on strategies, basic strategies, on more complicated rules, and feel free to just look at those that way, so we won't have to teach them later on to you guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.